The city of Los Angeles never truly sleeps, but at 3:45 a.m. even the freeways are quiet. The only sounds outside the Lakers' El Segundo practice facility are the distant hum of streetlights and the occasional echo of a passing car. Inside, the building is a cathedral of silence, empty courts, the faint scent of hardwood, and the ghostly glow of exit signs reflecting off polished floors. Dave, the Lakers' equipment manager, is a man of habit. For over a decade, he's been the first to arrive and the last to leave, the silent guardian of the team's tools and routines. But lately, his routine has been disturbed. Every morning, he finds the basketballs slightly deflated, their surfaces worn smooth from hours of use. The hardwood floors show fresh scuff marks and patterns that suggest intensive drilling, the kind of marks that usually appear after a full team practice, not overnight. Most puzzling of all, the weight room equipment shows signs of recent use. Barbells are out of place, dumbbells aren't in their proper order, and the bench press stations have been adjusted to different settings. He's mentioned it to Marcus, the head of security. Maybe the cleaning crew's moving things around, Marcus suggests. But the overnight custodial staff insists they never touch the athletic equipment. Security footage shows nothing unusual. The cameras capture the facility being empty all night, locked down tight as always. For weeks, this mysterious morning evidence continues to appear. Dave starts arriving earlier and earlier, trying to catch whoever is using the facility without authorization. 6:30 a.m., then 6 a.m., then 5:30 a.m., each time the same thing, new signs, but no culprit. The mystery deepens when other staff members begin noticing their own irregularities. The nutritionist finds that certain supplements are being consumed faster than expected. The video coordinator discovers that game footage has been watched repeatedly on the systems, leaving viewing histories that show marathon film sessions happening in the early morning hours. Most intriguingly, the shooting machines, expensive automated rebounding devices used for practice, show usage logs that indicate someone is getting up hundreds of shots every single night. It's during the third week of November that Dave decides to take matters into his own hands. The Lakers have just lost a close game to the Seattle Supersonics, and Kobe, still mostly coming off the bench, has played only 12 minutes and scored 4 points. The media is starting to question whether the youngest player in NBA history is ready for the intensity of professional basketball. That night, Dave parks his car across the street at 3 a.m., positioned where he can see all the entrances to the building. The parking lot is empty, the facility dark, except for the basic security lighting. He settles in with a thermos of coffee and a bag of donuts, prepared to wait until dawn if necessary. The hours crawl by. The city is still, the only movement the flicker of security lights and the occasional sweep of a janitor's flashlight. At exactly 4 a.m., a car pulls into the parking lot. Even in the dim lighting, Dave recognizes the vehicle immediately. It's Kobe's black BMW, the one the rookie bought with his first NBA paycheck. Dave watches in amazement as the young player gets out of his car, gym bag slung over his shoulder, and walks confidently to a side entrance of the building. Hating in 10 years and buying in 10 years in regulation. What happens next solves the mystery and creates an even bigger one. Kobe has a key. Not just any key, but what appears to be a master key that gives him access to the entire facility. Dave watches as the teenager unlocks the door and disappears inside. Within minutes, lights begin flickering on in different sections of the building. First the main gymnasium, then the weight room, then the film room. Unable to contain his curiosity, Dave gets out of his car and approaches the building. Through the main gymnasium windows, he can see Kobe on the court, already deep into what appears to be an intensive workout routine. The young player is alone on the vast court, but he moves with the focus and intensity of someone preparing for the most important game of his life. He isn't just shooting around casually. This is a systematic, methodical training session that covers every aspect of basketball skill development. Dave watches for nearly 2 hours, mesmerized by what he's witnessing. Kobe starts with ball handling drills, working on his dribbling with both hands for nearly 30 minutes. He moves through a progression of exercises that Dave has never seen a player do with such precision. crossovers, behind-the-back moves, through-the-legs combinations, all performed at game speed with perfect form. Next come shooting drills, but these aren't random shots. Kobe has positioned cones around the court in specific locations, creating a systematic rotation that takes him through every possible shooting angle and distance. He shoots 5 shots from each position, retrieves his own rebounds using the shooting machine, and moves to the next spot. Dave counts as Kobe makes 97 out of 100 shots from mid-range, then immediately moves to three-point practice, where he makes 84 out of 100. The young player's face shows no satisfaction, no celebration. If anything, he seems frustrated by the shots he missed. The most incredible part comes when Kobe moves to conditioning work. He sets up an elaborate series of agility drills using cones, ropes, and plyometric boxes. For the next hour, he pushes himself through exercises that would challenge even the most experienced professional athletes. Dave realizes he's watching something unprecedented, a rookie who is outworking veterans before they even wake up. As 6 a.m. approaches, Dave hurries back to his car to avoid being caught. He watches as Kobe emerges from the facility, looking like he has just completed the most intensive workout of his life. The young player locks up the building, gets in his car, and drives away. Dave sits in the parking lot for another hour, trying to process what he has witnessed. When he finally enters the facility for his normal workday, everything makes sense. The worn basketballs, the scuff marks, the used equipment, it's all evidence of Kobe's secret training sessions. But Dave faces a dilemma. Should he report this? Is Kobe breaking some kind of protocol? Or is this the kind of dedication that should be encouraged? The answer comes the next day, when Dave approaches Chick Hearn, the legendary Lakers broadcaster who has become something of a mentor to the young players. "Chick," Dave says carefully, "hypothetically speaking, if a player was coming to the facility on his own time really early in the morning to get extra work in, would that be against any rules?" Chick raises an eyebrow. "Dave, are you telling me that someone on this team is showing up before dawn to practice?" Dave nods. "Who?" "The kid, Kobe." Chick is quiet for a long moment, then smiles. "Dave, in my 40 years covering this team, I've seen a lot of dedicated players, but I've never heard of anyone showing up at 4 a.m. just to work on their game. That's not breaking rules, that's breaking barriers." It turns out that Jerry West, the Lakers general manager, has personally given Kobe access to the facility. West spotted something special in the teenager and wanted to give him every opportunity to develop his skills. "Most rookies need to be pushed to work harder," West later explains. "Kobe was the opposite. I was worried he might burn himself out, but I realized that his drive wasn't something to be controlled. It was something to be respected." The 4 a.m. sessions become the stuff of legend within the Lakers organization, but they are kept secret from the media and other teams. Players who arrive early for treatment or extra work sometimes catch glimpses of Kobe finishing his workout, drenched in sweat and looking like he has already played a full game. Shaquille O'Neal, who would later become Kobe's teammate and then rival, once arrives at the facility at 6 a.m. for treatment and finds Kobe shooting free throws. "I asked him how long he'd been there," Shaq later recalls. "He said since 4. I thought he was joking until I saw how much sweat was on the floor. That's when I realized this kid was different from anyone I'd ever met." The impact of these secret sessions becomes evident as the season progresses. While other rookies struggle with the pace and physicality of the NBA, Kobe seems to adapt with supernatural speed. His ball handling improves weekly. His shooting becomes more consistent, and his conditioning allows him to play at full intensity, even in the fourth quarter. But more than the physical improvements, the 4 a.m. sessions are developing something even more valuable, an unbreakable mental approach to the game. In those quiet, empty hours before dawn, Kobe is learning to push through fatigue, frustration, and failure with nobody watching, nobody encouraging him, nobody holding him accountable except himself. He is developing what will later become known as the Mamba Mentality, the relentless pursuit of perfection that drives him to outwork not just his opponents but his own limitations. Long before the 4 a.m. gym sessions, before the bright lights of Los Angeles and the roar of NBA crowds, Kobe Bryant's story began in a place few American basketball prodigies ever see, the sun-drenched hills of Italy. In 1984, when Kobe was just 6 years old, his father, Joe "Jellybean" Bryant, a former NBA player himself, signed to play professional basketball in the Italian League. The Bryant family packed up their lives and moved to Rieti, a small town where basketball was a curiosity and American athletes were rare. For young Kobe, Italy was a world of discovery. He learned to speak fluent Italian, made friends on dusty playgrounds, and spent countless hours watching his father play in packed, smoky gyms. But more than anything, he absorbed the rhythms of a professional athlete's life. Early mornings, relentless drills, the discipline of repetition. Joe Bryant was a demanding but loving father, and he saw in his son a spark of obsession that mirrored his own. "If you want to be great," Joe would tell Kobe, "you have to love the work more than the reward." Kobe took those words to heart. While other children played soccer in the streets, Kobe would dribble a worn-out basketball for hours, mimicking the moves he saw his father perform in games. He'd wake up before dawn to practice free throws on a makeshift hoop in the family's backyard, the cold Italian air stinging his fingers. When he missed a shot, he'd chase down the ball and start again, refusing to leave until he made 10 in a row. "I learned to be alone with the game," Kobe would later say, "to love the silence, the repetition, the grind." School was a challenge. Kobe was the only black child in his class, and the language barrier made him an outsider at first. But basketball became his universal language. He joined local youth teams, quickly outpacing his peers with his skill and intensity. Coaches marveled at his focus. He was never satisfied, one Italian coach recalled. If he missed a shot, he'd stay after practice until he made 100. If he lost a game, he'd replay every moment in his mind, looking for ways to improve. Joe Bryant, meanwhile, pushed his son to expand his game. He taught Kobe the fundamentals: footwork, passing, defense, insisting that talent was nothing without technique. On weekends, father and son would spend hours in empty gyms, running drills until Kobe's legs ached. "You have to outwork everyone," Joe would say, "not just on game day, but every day." The Italian years were also a time of family closeness. Kobe's mother, Pam, made sure her son balanced basketball with schoolwork and chores. The Bryants traveled together across Italy, exploring ancient cities and cheering Joe on in raucous arenas. But even on family vacations, Kobe's mind was never far from the game. He'd bring a ball everywhere, dribbling through cobblestone streets, practicing jump shots against stone walls, challenging local kids to one-on-one games in parks and piazzas. By the time Kobe was 13, the family returned to Philadelphia. The transition was jarring. American basketball was faster, more physical, and the competition was fierce. But Kobe arrived with a secret weapon: the relentless work ethic forged in those quiet Italian mornings. He was smaller and skinnier than most of his peers, but he made up for it with skill, discipline, and an unbreakable will. "I wasn't the most talented," Kobe would later admit, "but I was always the most obsessed." Those early years in Italy laid the foundation for everything that would follow. The 4 a.m. gym sessions, the championships, the Mamba Mentality. All of it began with a boy, a ball, and a father's lesson. Greatness is built in the dark, when nobody else is watching. When the Bryant family returned to Philadelphia, Kobe was a stranger in his own country. He was 13, skinny, and spoke English with a faint Italian accent. The city's basketball courts were a world away from the sunlit playgrounds of Rieti. Here the game was faster, rougher, and the competition was relentless. Kobe enrolled at Lower Merion High School, a place with little basketball pedigree and even less patience for outsiders. From the start, Kobe's work ethic set him apart. While most freshmen were content to blend in, Kobe arrived at the gym before sunrise, often unlocking the doors himself. He'd shoot hundreds of free throws before classes began, then return after school for hours of solo drills. His teammates would sometimes find him in the darkened gym, sweat pouring off his face, muttering to himself as he replayed missed shots in his mind. He was obsessed, recalls his high school coach Greg Downer. He'd practice until his hands bled, then tape them up and keep going. But Kobe's intensity came at a cost. He was socially isolated, struggling to connect with classmates who didn't understand his single-minded focus. While other teenagers went to parties or hung out at the mall, Kobe spent his evenings studying game film and perfecting his footwork. He kept a journal where he tracked every shot, every drill, every mistake. "I didn't have many friends," Kobe later admitted. "Basketball was my best friend." By his sophomore year, Kobe's relentless routine began to pay off. He grew taller, stronger, and more confident. His skills sharpened and his leadership emerged. He led Lower Merion to its first winning season in years, drawing the attention of college scouts and local media. But Kobe wasn't satisfied. He wanted to be the best player in the country, and he was willing to sacrifice everything to get there. The turning point came during a state playoff game in his junior year. With seconds left on the clock, Kobe missed a potential game-winning shot. The loss haunted him. That night, he returned to the gym alone, replaying the moment over and over, shooting from the same spot until exhaustion forced him to stop. Failure was fuel, Kobe would later say. Every mistake was a lesson, every loss a reason to work harder. His obsession became legendary. Teachers would find him practicing in empty hallways, dribbling a ball between classes. He'd study the moves of Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson on VHS tapes, then try to replicate them in practice. He even adopted a strict diet, avoiding junk food and late nights, determined to give himself every possible edge. By his senior year, Kobe was unstoppable. He averaged over 30 points per game, led Lower Merion to a state championship, and was named Pennsylvania's Player of the Year. College offers poured in, but Kobe had bigger dreams. He declared for the NBA draft, becoming only the sixth player in history to jump straight from high school to the pros. But the lessons of those high school years, the loneliness, the failures, the relentless pursuit of improvement, would stay with him forever. "That was my crucible," Kobe said years later. "That's where I learned that greatness isn't about talent. It's about obsession, sacrifice, and the willingness to be alone in the dark, chasing something nobody else can see." Kobe Bryant's rookie year in the NBA was a whirlwind of excitement and challenge. At just 17, he was the sixth player ever to jump straight from high school to the pros, joining a Lakers team full of stars. Most of the time, he sat on the bench, playing only a few minutes per game. Despite his incredible work ethic and practice, coaches and veteran players were cautious. "He's too young, too impatient," they'd say. But Kobe kept showing up at the gym at dawn and staying late into the night, working on his game alone. His teammates admired his discipline, even if they didn't always understand it. He had flashes of brilliance, winning the slam dunk contest and making a name for himself. But the real test came in the 1997 playoffs against the Utah Jazz. In overtime, Kobe was given the ball and missed 4 straight three-pointers, the last one an air ball that barely touched the rim. The arena fell silent, and Kobe hung his head. The media was ruthless. "He's not ready," they said. "The Lakers' future is in jeopardy." That night, Kobe didn't speak to anyone on the team bus. He couldn't sleep when he got home, but he didn't give up. The next morning at 5 a.m., he was back in the gym, shooting those same shots over and over. "Failure isn't the end for me," he said. "It's the beginning." His teammates grew to respect his stubbornness. Years later, Shaq would say, those air balls made Kobe a star because he was the only kid who wasn't afraid to fail. The struggles of his rookie season transformed Kobe physically and mentally. The pressure from the media, the expectations of the fans, and the competition within the team made him even more determined. Every criticism, every failure became fuel. The Mamba Mentality, that relentless discipline and drive for constant improvement, was forged in those early years. By the end of the season, Kobe was no longer just a talented kid, he was a warrior, showing signs that he would become a legend. "My first year in the NBA taught me how valuable losing is," he'd say, "because losing is just a chance to start again." Kobe's second and third seasons marked a turning point. He was no longer just a young talent. He was becoming an essential part of the team. His minutes increased, his responsibilities grew, and his partnership with Shaquille O'Neal began to change the Lakers' destiny. But their partnership was more than just success and harmony. It was also full of jealousy, ego clashes, and occasional explosions. Shaq was the league's most dominant center, crushing opponents with his power. Kobe stood out with his speed, agility, and endless energy. They pushed each other in practice, sometimes arguing, sometimes laughing together. Teammates said their rivalry was the fire that would take the Lakers to the top. They were fire and ice, one former Laker said. Together, they either burned everything down or froze everyone out. Kobe's all-star selection and slam dunk contest win cemented his star status. The media constantly scrutinized his relationship with Shaq. Even after victories, their minor disputes made headlines. Shaq thought Kobe played too individually at times. Kobe was willing to do anything to win. This tension sometimes led to locker room arguments and even physical altercations in practice. But on the court, their synergy was undeniable. The Lakers climbed the Western Conference standings under their leadership. Kobe, even at a young age, wasn't afraid to take responsibility in crucial moments, making game-changing plays in the playoffs. His performances signaled that he wasn't just a star. He was a future legend. The competition within the team also developed Kobe's leadership. He started motivating his teammates, setting an example with his work ethic. He was always the first to arrive and the last to leave. Even Shaq eventually respected Kobe's obsessive discipline. Kobe would do anything to win, Shaq would say years later. Playing with him was tough, but inspiring. The Lakers' rise drew the attention of the entire NBA. The Kobe-Shaq partnership became one of the league's most talked-about stories, full of both success and drama. The media called them the dynamic duo, questioning their relationship after every game. But for Kobe, the only thing that mattered was the team's progress toward a championship. Those years left a deep mark on Kobe's character. He learned to be a team player and to take the lead when needed. The conflicts with Shaq built his emotional resilience and communication skills. "My partnership with Shaq made me a better player and a more mature person," Kobe would say. "We won together, fought together, and grew together." If you're enjoying this deep dive into Kobe's journey, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more Untold MVP stories. Every week we bring you the most inspiring and dramatic moments from basketball history. By 2000, the Lakers were no longer just a playoff team. They were the top contenders for the championship. With Phil Jackson's arrival, the team's chemistry changed, and the balance between Kobe and Shaq became more productive. Throughout the season, the Lakers dominated the league, and Kobe became an indispensable leader on both ends of the floor. But the road to the championship wouldn't be easy. When the playoffs began, Kobe battled a series of injuries. His ankle was sprained, and sometimes he had to limp through games. Still, his performance in the Western Conference Finals against the Portland Trail Blazers became legendary. In Game 7, with the Lakers down by 15, Kobe led a stunning comeback, making crucial baskets and delivering an unforgettable alley-oop pass to Shaq that sent the team to the finals. In the NBA Finals, the opponent was the Indiana Pacers. In Game 3, Kobe suffered a serious ankle injury and had to sit out for a while. But in Game 4, he returned in overtime and scored clutch points to secure a Lakers victory. That moment became a symbol of Kobe's resilience in the face of pain and pressure. His teammates and coaches called it champion spirit. When the Lakers clinched the title 4-2, confetti rained down at Staples Center, and Kobe couldn't hold back his tears. At just 21, he was an NBA champion. Lifting the trophy with Shaq, all the years of hard work, lonely mornings, defeats, and pain suddenly made sense. For Kobe, this was more than a victory. It was the realization of a lifelong dream. After the championship, Kobe's reputation in the NBA changed completely. He was no longer just a talented young player. He was the man for big games, a leader who thrived under pressure. The media praised his composure and determination. His teammates acknowledged that Kobe's discipline and drive were the keys to their success. Phil Jackson said, "Kobe is the soul of this team. His ambition and passion lift everyone up." That first championship became a cornerstone of Kobe's legacy. It was the beginning of more titles, MVP awards, and records. But most importantly, Kobe's endless drive for improvement, what he called the Mamba Mentality, was now inspiring the world. A championship isn't just a goal, Kobe said. It's a journey you start over every day. After his first championship, Kobe's career became a journey full of triumphs and challenges. His greatest legacy wasn't just the trophies and records, but the Mamba mentality he developed, a way of life that demanded excellence and constant growth in every area. Kobe described the Mamba mentality as working every day to be better than you were yesterday, facing your fears, pushing your limits, and never settling. This approach inspired teammates, rivals, and young players everywhere. During his years with the Lakers, young players admired his work ethic. He was always the first to arrive at practice and the last to leave. Even when battling injuries, he would spend hours training alone. Kobe turned pain into motivation, a former teammate said. Being around him made you want to be better. Kobe's influence went far beyond the Lakers. Young stars like Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, and Devin Booker grew up watching his videos and saw him as a role model. After retirement, Kobe continued to mentor young players, teaching them not just basketball, but life lessons. Success starts outside your comfort zone, he'd say. Real growth happens in the toughest moments. Off the court, Kobe became a creative and inspiring figure. He started his own media company, won an Oscar for his short film, Dear Basketball, and championed projects that encouraged girls to play sports. He organized training camps for young athletes and worked with his daughter Gianna to promote women's basketball. Kobe was remembered not just as an athlete, but as a visionary leader and a person who gave back to his community. The tragic helicopter crash in 2020 shocked the world. The loss of Kobe and his daughter Gianna left a deep void in the basketball community and in the hearts of millions of fans. But his legacy lives on through the Mamba mentality. NBA players, coaches, business leaders, and students all look to Kobe's determination and drive as an example. His story is not just about a basketball legend, but about the immortal power of human will and passion. Kobe Bryant's life was a journey shaped by lonely mornings, sacrifice, victories, and defeats. His story belongs to anyone who wakes up every day determined to be better and never gives up. The Mamba mentality isn't just a slogan, it's a way of life. And Kobe's legacy will continue to inspire generations. If this story inspired you, show your support by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and sharing your favorite Kobe moment in the comments below. Stay tuned for more legendary MVP journeys, because behind every legend, there's an untold story.